AskReddit by Tech 888. What instantly ruins a hamburger for you? More of a meatball than a patty. I see you've had my dad's burgers. Assuming everything is fresh and nothing is spoiled. A cold patty. Towering height. Sogginess. This person burgers. When I go to take a big old bite and the whole thing just ejects out the back. Some restaurants with tall burgers put a pick in the middle to maintain shape. Many people remove the stick before eating the burger. I tend to eat around the stick to stop patty escape. Abnormal height of burger. That shit is for looking, not eating. Big burgers should be wide, not tall. Soggy bun. Absolutely awful when the bun loses all structure halfway through and your hamburger disintegrates in your hands and you're left with a pile of slop. So gross. When you're chewing, and the meat has a hard bit in it, like a piece of bone or something. Edit. Wow, thanks for the awards. There's nothing worse than finding a hard thing in soft food, or a soft thing in hard food. A surprisingly agile dog. I had a chihuahua once who did some Metal Gear Solid shit and literally got up on the table and made off with an 8-ounce New York strip without anyone noticing. Until we sat down to eat and 6 people were looking at 5 steaks like, did we really do this? And then my dad was like, hey, where's the dog, lol? Gristle. Or a little bone chip in the meat. Instant gag. I have a weird thing about unexpected textures in my food. Throws the whole dish off. Those stupid TikTok cheese sauces. I was gonna say excessive cheese. The amount of times I've seen a gallon of melted cheese explode out poured over is just... Some cheese is fine, it's the excess that's not needed or wanted. The price for a fucking sandwich that until recently was one of the cheapest things to eat. I recently saw a headline that Burger King is trying to get people to eat the Whopper again. How about not making it $8? I'm not saying it has to be 99c like it was from time to time when I was a kid, but $4.05 would get me to go more often. Bun breaking apart for me is one. I'll say this now. The height of burgers are a joke. I'd rather a regular burger height and the circumference of the burger being bigger. The bun to burger ratio is important. I also prefer thin patties better than one thick patty and much better than 2 big ones. I like the toughness of the burger rather than it feel soft to the bite. I've had some expensive burgers that have not been as good as cheap made van burgers purely because they were soft and mushy rather than tougher texture. Make them wider, not higher. Burger King takes the W again. The bun to burger ratio. It's got to match. If that burger is too small or the bun is too small, it just destroys the experience. My mom used to make what we called blood burgers when we were kids. She'd make patties and broil them so hot it was like she was trying to kill the cow second time. You wound up with a blackened ball about the size of a silver dollar that would bleed when you took a bite. We'd put 3 on a bun just to fill up the empty space. Any of these, order isn't important. 1. Overcooked meat. 2. Vegetables so wet that bread looks like a sponge. 3. Excessive amount of sauce. This describes Whataburger burgers perfectly, lol. Fat ass tomatoes. I love tomatoes. But I loathe lazy food preparers who slice them into massive slabs. Get a decent knife. Same goes for massive chunks of tomato in a salad. Poor construction. When the patty flies out the other side. Stick everything together with blobs of sauce. Too much sauce is what lubes it up and launches the patty out the far side. Good texture vegetables and a firm grip. I find sliced onions on the bottom and strips of bell peppers are the best grippy veg for the purpose. Stale bun. When you bite into it and chew on something hard that's not supposed to be there. When the cold condiments are hot, pickles, lettuce, etc. Time for a return of the MCDLT. Hair. A hair in my burger shuts down my appetite. Miracle Whip. Or sweet pickles. Sweet anything, really. You're saying it weird. Why are you putting so much emphasis on the H? Seeing a piece of hair on it. Even worse, not seeing the hair on it and pulling a foot-long hair out of your full of burger mouth. Miracle Whip. I've somehow made it to my 30s without ever trying Miracle Whip. When eating it like a normal burger defies the laws of physics. Stacked to the ceiling and dripping in stuff. Fuck off. My wife wanting a bite. She ruins the entire structural integrity of it. When I pick up a burger, I do not put it down until it's done because maintaining the structural integrity of the burger is key. Putting it down and picking it back up once it's been weakened by biting into it is too much of a risk. I know I'm in the 1% here because a lot of people think I'm crazy, but I can't stand pickles on burgers. Not a fan of pickles in general really. Especially when I specifically said no pickles, please. Chunk of bone. Having nails in it. Clearly you've never had the broken glass supreme. Bread and butter pickles. Probably controversial, but I don't like egg on my burgers. I love eggs and burgers separately, but egg on a burger just kinda grosses me out. Big thick slices of raw onions rings. I know it's a personal preference for many, but just onions. All the other things listed here I can deal with. But onions? As soon as I get that crunch, even if it's a half crunch, I'm on auto response and I just open up and can't take another bite. Raw onions is a hard pass. I like sauteed onions, but not on burgers. Really, anything where it's more like a condiment or the main sauce component for like steaks or something. Buns that haven't been toasted. Brioche buns. I just find them too sweet in a really unpleasant way. Anthony Bourdain has a good rant or two about brioche buns. I like his main idea that the entire point of a bun is to keep the grease off your hands, so using a greasy bun defeats that purpose in the first place, plus the buns don't always hold up well. Sometimes they tear, fall apart if they get too much juice, are too dense, etc. Putting raw tomato on it ruins it for me. Can't even take the tomato off and be fine with it, because the stuff soaks the thing. Too tall is bad because of difficulty eating, but I do think messy burgers are tasty burgers. Cheap meat. My nickname at the bar I frequent. Gristle. Takes me out of the experience. Five Guys has gristle and that makes me sad. I don't think I've run into gristle in a Five Guys burger, but I've probably only had about 1-2 dozen in my life. I'm not a fan of ketchup on my burger. Lettuce. I hate every sensation of hot, wilted, juice-covered lettuce on a burger.